Human beings can easily comprehend and compare a couple of values at a time, but comparing multiple numbers can be difficult. Creating charts, which are visual representations of data, makes it easier to compare values quickly and identify overall trends that can be investigated in more depth. In this movie, I will show you how to work with charts in the context of an Excel dashboard. My sample file is 0107 chart, and you can find it in the Chapter 1 folder of the Exercise Files collection. In this workbook, I have monthly sales data in an Excel table, and you can see that I have it for the months of January through November, and that is intentional. We'll add December later. I have time-based data, so I should probably create something like a line chart, which is perfect for showing values as they move over time. So I'll make sure I have any cell within the Excel table selected. Then I'll go to the Insert tab of the ribbon. And then in the Charts group, I will click the Insert Line or Area Chart button. And I'll just click the basic 2D line chart type at the top. There I have my chart, and probably the first thing you notice is that it is large. It takes up most of the screen space. I can always resize it by dragging one of the handles. If I drag a corner handle, then it'll change both its horizontal and vertical size. So I'll drag down from the corner to resize it, and you can see that's already a little bit better, except that it would take up a large part of the screen on a dashboard, and I try to keep everything on one window without scrolling. So if I make it smaller, then that's a little bit better, although it's still taking up a lot of space. That's not too bad, but there are ways we can make it even better. The first is to get rid of the chart title. We already know that we're looking at sales data, so if I want to get rid of a chart element, I make sure the chart is selected, click the Chart Elements button to the right, and then I see that chart title is checked, so I'll clear that checkbox, and there we have it. I have a little bit more detail in the graph. I can also change the font size. So if I right-click, in this case, I'll do the vertical axis, and then click Font. The font dialog box appears, and I can change the text size, color, and so on. In this case, all I want to do is change the size, so clicking the spin button takes it down 1/10 of a point. So I will just type in 6 and click OK. So there we have 6 point. That looks great. And I'll do the same thing for the horizontal axis. So I'll right-click that, click Font, and I'll take the size down to 6, click OK. And there we go. Now, when I resize the chart, you can see that we are taking up a lot less room, and it is still reasonably easy to read. I'm actually pretty happy with the chart that I have here right now. I have made it small enough so that I only have the axes of 100,000 and 50,000 with no intermediate grid lines. Now earlier, I mentioned that I like to use Excel tables for charts, and that's because if you add a new row to the Excel table, it's added to the chart the next time the worksheet is recalculated. So I will drag the chart back up so we can see it a little more easily. And then I'll click cell B12, press tab, and I'm going to add another row to the chart, or rather to the Excel table that provides the values for the chart. So in A13, I'll type DEC, which is the 3-letter abbreviation for December. You can see it's been added, and I'll put in sales of $111,342.50. And I'll press enter. And when I scroll back up, you can see that the chart has had the new December data added. And as you can see, because the month labels are displayed vertically, the chart didn't have to increase in size. So this, as it turns out, is a pretty good size for the chart, and it can probably fit on most dashboards. And if not, you can use the techniques that I just showed you to make sure that it does fit.